Namaste, everyone. Thank you all for joining us this evening. This is the third anniversary of Sri Siddhi Ma's Samadhi. And so we're putting together a little program here to honor her each in our own way. And we'll start this evening with Tara. Tara is zooming in from Wales. Tara spent many years with Sri Siddhi Ma, and we've asked her to share some stories with us today. And after Tara will be Ambika and Shyama and Krishnadas and myself as well. So stay with us, and thanks for joining.
Ram Ram. Namaste. It's lovely to be here sitting with Mother and with you. I've been asked to talk about things that Mother might have said or suggested loosely around the theme of practice. And I've had to cast my mind back over 40 years because that's when my practice started. In the early years, there were hardly any people in Kenshi. And my husband had seen Maharaji in 1973, and we travelled back to India in 1978. And we were living up the hill, halfway up the mountain, overlooking the valley, going down to the ashram every day, spending some time with the mothers, undertaking various tasks, sometimes hanging out in the garden. Early in 1979, we were down there one day and Ma called Vinod, said something to him in the Hindi Pahari that we couldn't understand, and then off he went to his office, and he came back with 2 little books. These were small books, 1 page, 1 verse, Hanuman Chalisa. He passed them to Mother. She looked at them, she rifled them through her fingers, put them to her head. She gave 1 to me, she gave 1 to Bali. And Vinod said, Mother says this will be good for you. And that's how we started learning Hanuman Chalisa. We would sit on the mountainside, on the veranda, or on a rock, or in the peach orchard, and with the valley stretching out below us, a silver ribbon of the river running at the bottom, the sides of the mountains towering up above, and the sky, and we learned the Chalisa. When we got to know it a little bit better, she said to us, out of the blue one day, Ruse Karo. I looked over at Vinod, he said, every day, do it every day. Just before the winter of 1979, our daughter was due to be born, and Mother called us one day and said, you know, you can't live up there, up on the hill, when you've got that baby. We didn't have electricity, we didn't have water, so yes, it would have been an incredibly difficult thing to do. She said, go to Chandantawari and ask him to rent some rooms in his house, which was just slightly further down the valley. We did this, and we lived there afterwards when we got back from Vrindavan. One day, Dadi Ma, Chandan's auntie, called me, Tara, Tara, come, come. And I ran up, and there, standing outside on the side of the road at the gateway to the house, was Siddhi Ma and Jabanti Ma. Oh, she said, this is where you live. Yes, Mataji, I said, this is where we live, round the back of the house. on the riverside of the house. Are you coming in? She said, no, we're walking down to the farm, but I wanted to see you. So I had been busy with my morning chores. I'm sure I was incredibly untidy and disheveled and all the rest of it. So she went off down to the farm and I carried on with the chores. So at about the same time, Bali was looking after Maharaji's Jeep. And he used to do the maintenance work on the Jeep. And he also used to take Vinod to Haldwani to collect supplies for the ashram. During one of these occasions, Ma said to me, you come up to the ashram and stay overnight here with Uma, so that you're not staying down on your own. So I stayed the night at the ashram with Uma, and in the morning I got set to go back down to the house to get myself organized and get Uma organized for the day. I walked back through the mandir to the kitchen part, and the ladies, Ma and Jabanti Ma, and about 6 devotee ladies were sitting in a circle preparing vegetables. Ma looked cold. She had a big shawl on, and they were sitting round, and I went to walk over to her, and she put out her hand like this, stop. And I just stopped in my tracks. And she nodded to me like that was okay. So then she said, where are you going? So I said, down to the house. I'm going to get organized for the day. So she said, Nahi ho gaya? Have you taken your bath? I said, Abhi nahi, I'm going. Okay, chalo, she said, chalo. And off I went. A couple of days later, I was up at the temple, and Vinod was there, and Ma said something to Vinod, and Vinod said, Mother is asking, what is your routine? Acha, what do you mean? Well, Vinod said, when you wake up in the morning, what do you do? How do you go about your household things? How do you do? So I said, well, I wake up and I make some tea and I feed the baby and I might wash some dishes and I gather some clothes to take down to the river to wash because I have to hang them out before the sun comes into the valley, otherwise they don't dry in time. And she turned around and she looked at me and she said, no, with the finger, no, in English. Pele nahi. I looked over at Vinod, for the translation. The no was obvious. I could get that. I didn't need that translating. But the Pele nahi, I didn't have a clue. He said, you take bath first. You take bath first, and then you do all the rest of your day. Mother is saying. I said, okay, well, it had never occurred to me to alter the routine in that kind of a way. I said, okay, I'll give it a go. She was being very specific after all. And it does draw into question about practice and what is practice and what does practice mean. Well, at that point, it certainly meant learning the Chalisa, doing the Chalisa daily. But then it also seemed to mean getting up in the morning, getting a bath before you tackle the rest of your day. She went further than that with me because she was quite strict with me. She was stricter than with other Western women. One day she said to me, Tara, tum sari. Salwa nahi. In my face like this. Okay, she doesn't want me to wear salwa kameez. So that's okay. Saris are very beautiful, very elegant. I'll wear the sari. So a little way down the road, I got given 2 synthetic saris, and up till that point I'd been wearing cotton saris and getting on quite well with them. But the synthetic saris, oh my gosh, you couldn't, they had a complete mind of their own. They went everywhere. At every opportunity, they fell off, they swashed around, they did all sorts of things. I was there one day, and in frustration I said to Mother, Ma, I was getting on okay with the cotton walla saris. Um, they were good. But these new synthetic walla saris, Ma, they have a mind of their own. I can't control them. She didn't say what I expected her to say. She said, Tara, you will get used to it. And that's how my practice of wearing sari began. Over the time that we spent in Kenshi, I got to know a little bit about Ma's practice. Not a lot. I'm sure there are great gaps in my knowledge, but a little bit. Jabanti Mataji, for example, had a particular Agabati puja that she did. Every morning before Aarti, around every picture of Maharaji's temple, in every picture, she would offer Agabati. She always had 2 sticks of Agabati, and she would be saying her prayers, her pratna or her mantra, whatever. I don't know if it was Hanuman Chalisa, but she was saying it just you could just hear. And every picture of Maharaji in the temple, she offered her Agabati. I used to walk around with her, and she was quite fine. She was fine with that. I used to just wait for her, and she would do her puja and her Agabati, and we would walk on to the next temple, and then the same would happen. We'd go all the way around, and then we'd walk back, and there'd be a few words to say here and there, and that was the ritual. Siddhi Mataji, well, she used to do rounds of the temples before Aarti as well. She would go and say good morning to Maharaji. She would do pranam. She would do parikrama. She would always offer her respect and her devotion. You always saw her with her hands together and her head bowed. And she would do all those rounds before Aarti. Later I learned that she got up at 3 a.m. Maharaji told her to get up at 3 a.m. because she needed to be an example to the others. And she did that for years and years. After that, taking the bath at 3 a.m., she did the individual prayers. Then she would pay attention to Maharaji's room, his tucket, the office. In the old days, they would also pick flowers themselves as well. She would have vases that went in specific places. I saw her in the back, surrounded by vases and buckets of water and long-stemmed flowers and short-stemmed flowers, surrounded by flowers, with her hair loose, drying in the sun, preparing Maharaji's vases for his darshan room vase, the Takat Puja vase, in the back room vase, and one other place that escapes me. Oh, in Maharaji's room as well at the back. And she would do all that. And then obviously they did Aarti in there, and there was always Agabati in there. And then she would, we would peel vegetables. We would sit together on the cobbles. She would give staff instructions. She would ask questions. She would talk to the pujaris. Visitors would come and go. There were darshans, dealings with people. She would make sure Maharaji's prasad was out there, the chana was there. Then there was Maharaji's bhog. She would pay attention to Maharaji's Bhog. Then there was lunch. She would make sure everybody ate. She ate last. And then there were walks around the garden, checking out what was going on there, checking the dharmsala for people to come and stay, the sabshi godam so that nothing was wasted or went rotten. And all the time, the sound of Hari Rama, Hari Krishna could be heard in the background. And that really sums up Ma, because for her, it was all practice. Everything that she took care of for Maharaji was her practice. Every single moment, it was all centered on Maharaji. So that's why the question arises as to what is practice. So there were other times as well. There were individual darshans where people would come into the darshan room, and one of the ladies would go up towards her and put her anshal like this and turn to Mother and speak to her so that nobody else in the room could see or hear what was being said. And they would have this bit of private conversation. And many, many, many times the outcome of little darshans like that was Mother saying, go to Maharaji's mandir and part karo. I heard her so many times say that to so many different people. And she would also say, tum part karo, Maharaji sabti karo. Maharaji will make everything okay if you're doing your prayers. For 1 month, at the end of April to the end of May, up to 15 June, they did 24-hour Hanuman Chalisa outside Maharaji's mandir. This was the start of the season. I think Ma told you to do pratna and prayers for lots of different reasons. And there was one time in particular that I recall that she told me to go and do prayers. And it was one day in Kenshi. They were setting up darshan up on the roof, and lots of mats were being put out. It was obviously she was going to be there for a while, and I was one of the first person, and Bali also was there. We were one of the first people up there, and I thought, oh, this is great. I'm first up here now. Can spend some time with Mark and just watch everybody arrive and do their pranams and everything. And she turned to me and she said, Tara, jao, Hanuman ji ki mandir ke paas Hanuman Chalisa karo. Go to Hanuman's mandir, do Chalisa. Ma, you only just came. We only just got here. How can this be? And I sort of avoided the instruction. And then she said 2 or 3 times to me, go to Hanuman's mandir, go and do Chalisa. And in my mind, I remembered reading in Ram Dass's book, in Miracle of Love, I think it was, where the devotees would vie with each other as to who would leave last and avoid the jow as long as possible. And that was in my mind. And so I was sort of thinking that. And then she turned to me very quickly and she said, jow. Okay. So I went, and Bali came down as well at the same time because he had a job to do for Vinod. And he went to go to do this job for Vinod, and I went to do Hanuman Chalisas at Hanuman's Mandir. After some time, I was called over. Bali's job entailed drilling a sign for Vinod, and the drill bit had broken off and gone straight into his eye. I saw him, there was blood pouring down. We went into the office. Jaya came, Koshal came, Vinod was there. It was a big scene, and it's quite a long story and complicated. But at the end of it, Ma said to Bali, he went to pranam to her. She was in the havan, and Ma said to Bali, this was going to be a very big thing for you, but Maharaji has made it a small thing. And the point I'm trying to make, that I was so freaked out with myself for not going to do the pratna, not going to do the prayers, when she told me to go and do prayers. Go now, go to Hanuman's temple, go and do prayers. And I was completely freaked out with myself for avoiding it and not going. And that gave me the understanding that she says, do prayers for lots of different reasons. There was a time when we lived in Vrindavan for a short time, and we were doing the walk around the parikrama with our 1-year-old daughter. And so it was a very slow moving process. It took most of the day. Sometimes she was walking, sometimes she was being carried, sometimes she was on shoulders, so on and so forth. And one of the places we walked through was a garden. And in the garden there was a Sadhu Baba with just a dhoti around his waist. And underneath the tree was a woman lying on a mat with her anshal sort of covering her face and shielding her from the heat of the sun. And the old man stopped us to talk to him, and we spoke to him and everything. And the woman, he conversed with the woman, and she said things, but we didn't really get a clear picture of her. And then the Baba said, Khana banate, Bhagwan ki naam Radhe Shyam, Bhagwan ki naam Radhe Shyam. And this was the universal gesture for making chapatis. And what he was telling me was, you say the name when you're cooking, and everything is going to be tiga. And I didn't think much of it, and we didn't think much of it. I mean, they were lovely, and we said bye and waved and everything. And then we were a ways down the road, and Bali said, do you know, I think that was Maharaji. I think that was Ma. And I remembered that a few years later when I was in my kitchen and I was making chapatis, and all of a sudden it came out, Bhagwan ki naam Radhe Shyam. And it's a wonderful thing, because in Vrindavan, when you go to sleep at night, you hear all the guards from all the different temples and dharmsalas and ashrams and nighttime watchmen. And every now and again they say in different voices and different levels, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. And it's another practice. And that's what that parikram round Vrindavan taught me. That was a different practice, to say the name while I was cooking. Mother told me that she used to do Chalisa when she did her household tasks and her jobs at home. And I said, oh, really? Because I had this idea that, you know, it was all about sitting and doing Om. But she said, no, You have to live in the world, you have to work in the world, you have to bring, like we brought her to Wales and we brought Maharaji to Wales. We forced them to be here because we listened to their advice and we've done our part. Huh? So good. And, you know, that question of what is part for, what is practice for, and apart from all the very different reasons, we've got to think of the focus, the discipline, the provision of a routine, the connection, the remembrance, you know, all of those things, those little memories. Later on, when we visited Kenshi in later years, when there were new rules at the Hawan, and you couldn't anymore go into the Hawan to participate in Durga Puja like we used to in the old days, we said to Ma, she had asked us to go for Durga Puja, we said to her, Ma, but what do you want us to do? We can't go in the Hawan, we can't participate. So she said, go to the Hawan, sit outside and do part. Bali, you do Hanuman Chalisa. Tara, you do Bajrang Baan. Go to the Havan, sit there, do part. They started early in the morning after Aarti. There was Takat Puja. Then there was lunch. There was a lunch break and then they were back. So we were there for quite some time doing part. You know, days, in fact. And then she would say things to me like, all of a sudden she'd say, Aj Ekadasi. Ekadasi, Brit? Do you fast for Ekadasi? Well, I expect I do now, Ma. After she said it a few times, I got the idea. The point is, the way you do things and the devotion that you do them with is huge. And even though Maharaji said this wonderful thing, which I always think of when I don't feel like doing my part, that you should do it even in lethargy or even dislocation of your feelings, whatever you're feeling or not feeling, you should still do it. And that's a massive, huge discipline. But the point is, it's for our benefit. And now, Nina, I have to say, I have no idea how long I've been speaking.
You're fine. You're just about half an hour.
Okay. And so grateful to Mother for all her teachings. Some of them have been challenging. Some of them have been, all of them for our own benefit. Definitely. Everything that she ever told us to do was for our own good. And her example is the biggest thing. The way that she cared for Kenshi, the way that she cared for Maharaji, the way that she showed her devotion in everything that she did, and showed us the true meaning of what practice is, I think. And I'm very grateful to her, Ma. And let's just Shri 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 Bhavanin Karoli Ji Sant Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Siddhi Mata Ji Ki Jai. Shri Jabanti Mata Ji Ki Jai. Satgurudev Bhagwan Ki Jai. Jai Jai Jai. Thank you so much for listening. Ram Ram.
Thank you, Tara. That was really beautiful. I think I'm gonna start just singing, and then Tara made me think of so many things I wanted to talk. So many stories about Ma. But let's chant a little, because one thing I will say, I was rereading my journals from my time in India with Ma over the years. Sometimes I was a good journaler about it, sometimes not so good. But I, over and over and over and over again, I wrote that she said that singing to Maharaji was my seva. So let's do that. That's why I chant so much. I do what I'm told, apparently, if Ma tells me. So we're gonna do the Durga Stuti. We'll start with that. We'll Om, and then we'll do the Durga Stuti in full with my muddled pronunciation. Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Nidrarupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Kshutarupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. 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 Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Jayarupena Sanstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Trishna-rupena samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Kshanti-rupena samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. 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 Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Jati-rupena samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lajarupena samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti-rupena samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shraddha-rupena samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. 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 Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Kanti-rupena samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmi-rupena samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Vritti-rupena samstita. Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Ya Jai Ma, Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma, Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma, Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Dayarupena Samstita, Namastasye, Namastasye, Namastasye Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Tushtirupena Samstita, Namastasye, Namastasye, Namastasye Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matrarupena Samstita, Namastasye, Namastasye, Namastasye Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Prantirupena Samstita, Namastasye, Namastasye, Namastasye Namo Namaha. Indrayanam Dishthatri Bhutanam Chakileshya Bhuteshu Satatam Tasye Vyakti Devye Namo Namaha. Chittirupena Ya Krishnam Etat Vyapya Stita Jagat, Namastasye, Namastasye, Namastasye Namo Namaha. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma, 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 Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. So I wasn't planning on doing a Hanuman Chalisa, but when I was reading my journals over today, again and again and again, she would say, do Hanuman Chalisa, do the Chalisa. When you're doing this, do the Chalisa. When you go here, do the Chalisa. And it was again and again, keep doing your Chalisas, don't leave your Chalisas. So I feel like, let's do a Hanuman Chalisa. she loved it. She used to ask us to sing it for her, to Maharaji for her. Sometimes she would sing it with us, and Jivanti Ma would too. Yeah, I feel really lucky and blessed to have had time with Siddhi Ma and Jivanti Ma. And to have the practice that Ma gave me. Okay, I have no idea what melody I'm gonna do. Mangalmurati Marutanandana Sakala Mangalmulani Kandan Mangalmurati Marutanandan Sakala Mangalamulani Kandan Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nijmarmo Guru Sudari Varnara Bhuvara Vimalajasu Chodaya Kalachari Vadina Tanu Janike Sumiram Pavana Kumara Balabuddhi Vidya Devumai Harokalesha Vikara Siyavarama Chandra Padajay Sharanam Jaya Hanuman Jnana Guna Saga Jaya Kapisha Diloka Jaga Ramaduta Tulita Baladama Anjani Putra Pawana Sutanama Mahabhira Vikrama Bajrani Kumatini Vara Sumati Kesani Kanchana Varana Viraja Subesa Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kesa Hati Vajra Vajagiraje Kande Chichine Usaje Shankara Suvana Kesari Nandan Teja Pratapa Mahajagovandan Vidyavana Guniyati Chatu Ramakaja Karibeko Atu Prabhu Charitra Sunibeko Rasiya Rama Lakana Sita Manavasiya Sukshmarupadari Siya Hindikava Vikatarupadari Langa Charava Bhimarupadari Asura Sanhare Ramachandra Ke Kaja Sambhare Larisa Jivana Lakana Jiyare Shri Raghubira Hara Shiuralai Rarupati Kini Bhautu Parai Tumama Priya Bharatai Samabai Sasapadana Tumaro Jasakave Asukai Shri Pati Kanta Lagave Sanakadika Brahmadi Munisa Narada Sharada Saita Isa Yamakupera Digopala Jahante Kavi Kovid Kai Sakai Kante Tuma Upakara Sugriva Ikina Rama Pilaya Raja Padatina Tumaro Mancha Vibhishanumana Lankeshvara Vaisavajagajana Vikasastram Jojana Parupana Yotai Madhura Palajana Prabhu Mantrikamali Mukamai Jalari Langi Gaya Charajanai Turgamakaja Jagatike Jete Sugama Anuratumare Tete Rama Tuare Tumarakavare Otanagya Binu Pesare Sarasukalahe Tumari Sharana Tumarakshaka Kau Kodarana Apanite Jasumaro Ate Tina Loka Hakuten Kampe Utupisha Chimikata Ambika duka bisarave antakala raghubara pura jai jai janma hari bhaktai ora devata chetana tarai hanuman se sarva sukha karai sankate kate vide savamira josmire hanumat balavira jai 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 hanuman gosai kripa karo gurudeva kinai jo satamara pata karakoi judai bandi mahasukoi jo ya pare hanuman chalisa hoi siddhi saki garisa tulsidas sita hari chera kije nadari dharmadera pavanatsanaya sankatarana mangala murati rupa ramalakana sita saita hridaya vasasura rupasya paramachandra padacheshanam Mangalamurati Marutanandan Sakala Mangalamulani Kandan Mangalamurati Marutanandan Sakala Mangalamulani Kandan Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Sitaram 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 Shima Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma 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 Jai Gurudev Jai Jai Gurudev 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Sitaram stick your head in here at least.
Fine.
This was
Hello.
Leela was singing with me because she's Maharaji and Ma's Prasad. She just isn't showing her full self today. Just a little bit of herself. So,
Just a little bit of me. I'm gonna finish chopping the ginger.
Okay.
I love you, Mommy.
I love you too.
Bye.
So, yeah, she learned the Hanuman Chalisa spontaneously. When we would do the Hanuman Chalisas in the afternoon in Kanchiram at Maharaji's Mandir, as Ma asked us to, and Nina and I, when the girls were small, when Uma and Leela were small, right, we would be playing and singing, and they would be on our laps, and a lot of the times just sleeping, right? And they were like 2 and 3 years old, I think, and after that, Leela just knew it. We took a trip to visit a friend in Italy after we were in India that year, and she just started singing it, like just happened, and she knew it, and so there you go. Let's do one more chant before I hand it over to Shyama. We'll do Om Dum Durgaye Namaha, which is to Durga, to the Mother, the Divine Mother, and Siddhi Ma certainly embodied that and still does for me. So this is the Dum is the Bija mantra, it's the seed mantra for Durga. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. That's it. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. 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 So, I did think of a story. I have so many that I wanted to tell before I hand this over to Shyama. Because of what Tara, the stories you were telling me about, telling us about practice, reminded me of this time that I got quite a scolding about doing my practice from Ma, and it was like the best scolding of my life, for sure, definitely. I had been in the south with her in a place called Virapuram, where it was my first time in India, and I had been in India for many months, and I'd been in the south at this ashram, and it was just, her and Jivantima and a few of the mas and devotees. It was very few people, and that's where she gave me my name, and she gave me like a schedule to sing to Maharaji, and that my seva was sing in the morning and in the afternoon, and at first it was chalisas, and then it expanded to other bhajans. She would ask me, do you know any other bhajans? And so then I was like, okay, I'll sing something else. So after that, she said she would meet me in Vrindavan. She was going to go to Vrindavan next, so I had to leave and went to Delhi, and then I went to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, before she came, I want to just say, in the south, when I was in the south with her at that ashram, there were no other Westerners. There was no one for me to like hang out with, gossip with, just like shoot the breeze. Like, it was all practice all day, every day. Like, that's all it was. And so when I got to Vrindavan, there were some people there that I could like hang out with and chat with, and and I could shop. I was having a fine old time. So and I was shopping and doing all the things and running around and having a great time. And I wasn't singing on schedule to Maharaji as instructed. And part of it was because I was just having fun. And part of it was because I felt self-conscious. Like, who am I to go, like, let me sing now. I'm the one, like I had some self-consciousness around it also. Like, I had to be told to do it. Like, she had to tell me, or someone did, and nobody did. So I was like, well, then I guess I don't need to. And so when she got there, she showed up, and maybe I made this part up, or I thought this, but like I kind of remember she didn't really, like, for the first couple of days or the first day or something, she wouldn't really look me in the eye. She kind of seemed to be avoiding me. Like, I was like, what's going on? She's a little weird with me. What did I do? And then one morning, I was with this devotee, Kabir Das, who spoke Hindi, and she came up to me, and very fiercely, she was like, Ambika, have you been, and had him translate. She was like, Kabir, you translate. And she was like, have you been singing to Maharaji morning and afternoon? And I was like, no, I had, no. And then she said, why haven't you been singing to him? He needs to be sung to here as well. You don't think he needs to be sung to here? And then I was like, I don't know. She was like, you need to sing to him every morning. And she did the finger, Tara. Every morning and every afternoon, sing to Maharaji in his office. And then she pulled out, there was this other young woman, Indian woman, Mamta, who had been with us in the South. And then she said, Mamta is up every morning at 4 a.m. washing pots. What have you been doing? I was like, I don't know, I was shopping, I don't know. And that was my scolding, and it was really hard for Kabir Das to like keep a straight face. I remember it was like so sweet and funny and lovely and great. And after that, of course, I sang to Maharaji with Ma sitting right there, right behind us in the darshan room, morning and afternoon. So that's my last Ma story. So thank you, Nina, for bringing us all together, and thank you to all of you, and to this satsang, and to Ma Maharaj ki jai, Shri 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 Siddhi Ma ji ki jai, Shri 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 Vindhyavasini Jagadamba Maya ki jai. Thank you. Ram Ram.
Whoops. Hello. There we go. I think I'm audible. I can't hear me, but that's good. So that was so nice, Ambika. It's better if I don't look at myself. It's too weird. Anyway, I'm really happy to be here, and I can't believe it's been 3 years since Ma left her body. It just seems like it was just a minute ago, and it seems like a lifetime also. So both things. And I'm just grateful, like we all are, I think, to have had the time with her that I had and have, because it feels to me that she's still with us. It's not quite the same as going and sitting at her feet and being yelled at, but she's with us for sure. I was remembering some stories as well. And one in particular that I thought I would start by telling. This took place in Rishikesh, in the temple there, and it was morning pratna. And so I was walking around, and we were sitting. There's a group of people walking around through the temple, offering the prayers together at the different temples. And we were at the Shiva Mandir, which is also the Devi Mandir. So we were singing the Shiva and the Devi prayers. And as we were sitting there singing, we were starting to sing some, I don't know which one of the Devi prayers. Ma came out. She had been in the Hanuman Mandir, and she came out and she was walking past, and she pranamed at the Shiva Mandir, and then she was continuing on in her pratna, in her morning practice through the temple. And I remember I was sitting there, and I thought, why am I singing to the Devi when the Devi is walking past me? I think I'd rather follow her. So I got up and left the mandir and the morning pratna, and just walked at a good distance behind. And it was me and Ganesh Jaldiar, Mr. Jaldiar ji, and also Subhash Arora. The three of us were the motley crew, walking at a respectful distance through the entire temple. And we walked all the way back and followed her. I felt like a little kid, but it was so great. Just realizing that she was there, and I could worship her. We walked all the way back into the ashram behind her. We were like the distant tail on the kite, the three of us. And then she finally went up the stairs, and we had to do a final pranam. It was really sweet. But one day I asked her, this was before that, in Kenshi, I'm pretty sure. One day in a darshan, I said, Ma, I don't really understand Hanuman or Ram or Shiva or the deities. I don't really understand them really, really deeply. Is it okay if I just remember you and Maharaji? And she said, yes, that was okay. So I took that as a permission, which it was. And of course, I love to sing the mantras, but really mostly I think about Ma and Maharaji. So let's sing some. I wanted to sing, I don't know if I'll get to everything, but I wanted to start by singing. This is a bhajan that was sung, that I learned from the singing of Anandamayi Ma, some recordings. And I think it's very nice. I think Mark is putting the words up on the streams. I hope so. But I'll tell you, it's Shri Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namah. Atma Guru Sharanam, Vishwa Guru Sharanam, Jagat Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namah. It's all about bowing. Bowing to the Guru. And then taking refuge in Ma. Sharanam Charanam, Sharanam Charanam, Sharanam Charanam, Sharanye Ma. So that's what that means, taking refuge. Guru Kripa Hi Kevalam. So we'll sing that and then see what happens next. I'm singing in a different place because this is on Zoom. For us, it's on Zoom. And so hopefully it'll all work. I have my little portable puja on my file boxes. I'll show you. This is a picture that I took, actually. It's the only one I have that I took of Javanti Ma, Siddhi Ma, and Jaya upstairs in Rishikesh, and Maharaji, of course, in the front. So that's here. And then my travel Ma Maharaj picture. I love these. This is what else is on my little puja. And this picture of Ma, I'm getting a reflection, sorry. This picture of Ma, also there's a flower that she must have given me at some point. Epitomizes her constant devotion to Maharaji. Constant. Never a moment she wasn't doing that. So I love these pictures together. Okay. Shri Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namo. 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 Atma Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namo. Vishwa Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namo. Atma Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namo. Vishwa Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namo. Jagat 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 Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namo. Jai Jai Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namo. 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 Atma Guru Sharanam, Jagat Guru Sharanam, Vishwa Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namo. Atma Guru Sharanam, Jagat Guru Sharanam, Vishwa Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namo. Jai 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 Guru Sharanam, Namo Namo Namo. Guru Kripa Nitevanam, Guru Kripa Nitevanam, Guru Kripa Nitevanam, Guru Kripa Nitevanam. Sharanam, 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 Sharanyema. 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 Guru Kripa Nitevanam, Guru Kripa Nitevanam, Guru Kripa Nitevanam, Guru Kripa Nitevanam. So this next chant is actually a melody I made to go with a translation of from the English, because I couldn't find the original words that Maharaji spoke. But I loved this quote, and it's in Ram Dass's collection of stories about Maharaji, which I forget the name of. It's so funny, my brain. Anyway, okay, it's not coming. That's fine. You all know what it is. But there's a quote that says, all action is prayer, all trees are wish fulfilling, all water is Ganga, and all earth is Kashi, is Benares. Sorry, all earth is Kashi, which is yes, Benares. What am I saying? Love everything. So I try. It's kind of a funny thing to do. I wanted to sing it in words that would be more like what he would have said. So here are the words that I put together with this melody. Sab karma pratna hai, sabhed kalpa vriksha hai, sab pani ganga hai, sab bhumi kashi hai, sab kuch pyar, love everything. So I wanted to sing that with you, and hopefully Mark has got the words. I know he had them, so I think he has them up. I can't see. We'll just sing it together. Sab karma pratna hai, sabhed kalpa vriksha hai, sab pani ganga hai, sab bhumi kashi hai. Sab karma pratna hai, sabhed kalpa vriksha hai, sab pani ganga hai, sab bhumi kashi hai. Sab kuch pyar, 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 sab kuch pyar. Sab karma pratna hai, sabhed kalpa vriksha hai, sab pani ganga hai, sab bhumi kashi hai. Sab karma pratna hai, sabhed kalpa vriksha hai, sab pani ganga hai, sab bhumi kashi hai. Sab kuch pyar, 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 sab kuch pyar. Sab karma pratna hai, sabhed kalpa vriksha hai, sab pani ganga hai, sab bhumi kashi hai. Sab karma pratna hai, sabhed kalpa vriksha hai, sab pani ganga hai, sab bhumi kashi hai. Sab kuch pyar, 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 sab kuch pyar. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, 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 Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma, 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 Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. I love the old stories of Ma singing for Maharaj. Back when she was in her house with her family, her young family, when she was very young. These beautiful stories about her singing. So I'm singing Maharaj's words, but I'm singing them for her. That's how it is for me anyway. So let's sing. I wanted to tell, actually, let me tell this story now. Oops, I lost it. That's okay, because I think I know what it is. I wrote them down just so that my little brain wouldn't forget them, but then I lost the piece of paper. It's okay. Of course, now I'm going to space it out. Oh, I know. It's just a sweet story. I might have told it before sometime. I don't know. But I used to like to sit in the morning for practice. I'd get up early, not at 3, but at 4 in Kenshi and also in Rishikesh. Mostly the places I was with Ma. And take a bath, take a bucket bath, and come and sit, as we all did, out in the temple, and do my morning practice, which was Chalisa's. And I would sit, but I liked to sit. Where I liked to sit was next to Maharaj's tucket on the porch there in front of his rooms. I would always try to sit there, unless someone else was. But that's where I like to be, partly because it was nice when she would come out. Sometimes she would come out while we were sitting, doing for morning practice. And it was nice to be right there when she would come out. So that's not really, also I just liked sitting there because I liked sitting by Maharaj's tucket. And I knew she was in the rooms behind. At least I would always feel that she was there. And so I liked feeling her close. So one day I was sitting there doing this morning practice. And I suddenly, because I was sitting right by his tucket, I remembered the story that I love, that Larry Brilliant tells about when he first came and the amazing experience he had when he was giving up on everything and getting ready to go back to America, very disheartened and thinking his whole marriage was gone because his wife was Girija, was obviously had found her guru, and he didn't feel it. And anyway, it's a famous story, you must all know it. But he was sitting there. They came early because he was going to say goodbye to Maharaji. And they came early, and someone had placed some apples on the tucket. I think in the shape of the name Ram. I don't know. I think I heard him say that one time. It's not in the book that way. But anyway, one of them had fallen off of the tucket onto the porch. And he picked it up. And as he picked it up, in that very moment, Maharaji came bursting out of the doors, bang, and stood on his hand, and he was in the position of touching his foot, which was what he had found so distasteful in other people, watching the Westerners especially. So I'm sorry to be telling the whole story, but anyway, the point is, I was sitting there remembering because it happened right there. And so I was thinking about it. And in that moment when I thought, and then he burst, I was just thinking of the bursting, that burst thought came in my mind. In that very moment, the second set of doors, which was the doors that Ma came out of, burst open just that way. And she came out and she smiled at me. I don't know. It was just a great moment. She knew everything, and she was so quiet about it, but once in a while she would let you know. And I think she was also helping me to feel a connection to Maharaji through her. She was guiding me. And so that was a beautiful thing. And of course I leaped up and got to her feet while she was standing there. Because that's what you do. That's the thing. Anyhow, that was the story that came to mind to share. She was working in hand in glove with him all the time, all 24 hours a day, every day. Pretty amazing ability to do that. And she made it seem like it was just her nature, which maybe that's why she could do it. But it's really something to be around that. So I want to sing with you. Well, I was going to sing, let's see, what time is it? No, let's just sing Durga Chalisa. And I'll sing this actually with the Ektara. So let me do this. I learned the Durga Chalisa because I used to always do the morning, sometimes the evening, but always the morning pratna in the temple. And I really liked it. And she liked that I did it, so that made me even more do it. But that singing the Durga Chalisa as part of those prayers every day laid the foundation for being able to learn it eventually. And I'm glad to know it. It's really a blessing. So if you don't know it, if you have one of the prayer books from Kenchi, it's in there. And maybe Mark is putting up a link to the words. You can read along or sing along. Or if you know it, please sing. Again, it starts with bowing. Namo, 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 namo. natural response when you are in the presence of Ma. Namo, namo, namo. Namo, namo, namo. Namo, namo, namo. Namo, namo, namo. Namo, namo, Durge Sukkarani. Namo, namo, Ambe Karani. Namo, namo, Durge Sukkarani. Namo, namo, Ambe Karani. करे ज्योति तुम्हारी त्यों लोक फेरी उजियारी दर्शन लाभ कमान साल नेत्र लाल भक्ति विकराल रूपम मातु को अधिक सुहावे दरस करत जनाति सुख पावे तुम संसार शक्ति लय किया पालन हेतु आन गानिया Annapurna Vijagapala Tumai Hari Sundari Bala Kalaya Kala Savanasanari Tumagauri Shiva Shankarayari Shiva Yogi Tumare Gunagari Brahma Vishnu Tume Nityavi Rupa Sarasvati Kotumadaro Deshu Gauri Shivaminavaru Narasimha Pragata Bhai Varake Kamba Raksha Kare Prahlada Pachayo Virana Kusha Gosvarga Patayo Lakshmi Rupa Dharo Jagamai Shri Narayananga Samayo Shira Sindhu Venkarata Vilasa Kaya Sindhu Jai Manasa Bhuvaneshwari Bhavapasuyani Shivera Vikara Jagatarani Chinapala Bhavaduka Nivarani Kearivana Sola Bhavani Angura Vira Charatarani Karamika Karakara Gavirani Jakode Takala Darabani Suri Karamena Strachishuna Chate Uttata Shatru Vishura Naga Kote Mentuma Indirajata Deodoka Mendanka Bhajata Chumbana Chumbadana Vatunamari Kaptu Bija Sandana Sangari Mahishasura Nipate Abhimani Jaya Navaya Mahina Kulani Rupa Karala Kali Kodara Sena Saita Tunati Sangari Hari Vira Santana Parajaba Jaba Bhai Sahe Madhu Tuma Tama Tama Marapuri Aruva Sabaloka Tava Mahima Sabakai Shuka Mene Jyoti Tumari Tumhe Sada Pujen Naranari Prema Bhakti Se Jodha Sagami Dukha Daritra Nikanayinari Javi Tumhe Janara Manalai Janama Marana Teso Juti Jai Yogi Suramonika Tapakari Yoga Navarena Shakti Kumari Shankara Chakapakino Kana Kode Vipi Sabanino Nishidina Dhyana Daro Shankara To Kahum Kalanan Sumero Shakti Rupa Maramana Payo Shakti Kai Baba Mana Pachitayo Sharanagata Vikirti Vakani Jaya 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 Asha Krishna Nipatasatari Vipamarapamoyena Tidarapari Shatruna Shaki Jai Maharani Suneronika Tuturai Bhavani Kripa Karo E Matudaya Riddhi Siddhi De Karo Nihari Jabana Viji Udaya Panapan Umaro Jasale Sada Sada Durga Chalisa Joko Egave Sabasuta Boga Paramapada Pave Devi Dasa Sharananya Jani Karo Jagadamba Bhavani Karo Jagadamba Bhavani Devi Dasa Sharananya Jani Karo Shima Jema Jema Shima Jema Jema Shima Jema Jema Shima Jema Shima Jema Jema Shima Jema Jema Shima Jema Jema Shima Jema Namo 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 Shyama. So Nina's going to start in a minute, and we'll carry on from here. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to Nina for doing this, and thank you to Ma for everything. Everything. Shri 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 Anantakoti Babanib Karori Santa Maharaj Ki Jai. Jo Bole So Bhai Shri Ma Maharaj Ki Jai. Kenshi Vashnim Jagadamba Maya Ki Jai. Jyoti Maya Ki Jai. Jai Gurudev. It's on you, Nina.
Sarvam सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते सर्वमंगलमंगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते सर्वमंगलमंगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते शिवं शान्तिकरीं ब्रह्माणीं ब्रह्मणा प्रियं सर्वलोकप्रणतृं च प्रणमामि सदा शिवं मङ्गलां शोभनां शुद्धां निष्कलां परमां विश्वेश्वरीं विश्वमातं चण्डिकां प्रणमाम्यहं सर्वदेवामयीं देवीं सर्वरोगभयापहं ब्रह्मेशा विष्णुनमितं प्रणमामि सदा शिवं विन्ध्यास्थां विन्ध्यानिलयां दिव्यस्थाननिवासिनीं योगिनीं योगजननीं चण्डिकां प्रणमाम्यहम् ईशनामातरं ईश्वरीं ईश्वराप्रियां प्रणतोऽस्मि सदा दुर्गां संसारानवतारिणीं श्रीमा जय मा जय जय मा श्रीमा जय मा जय जय मा श्रीमा जय मा जय जय मा जय जगदम्बे मा दुर्गा श्रीमा जय मा जय जय मा श्रीमा जय मा जय जय मा श्रीमा जय मा जय जय मा Jaya Jagatambe Ma Durga. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Mahadevi Lalita. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Mahadevi Lalita. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Bhairavi Jagatarini Ma. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Ambike Kali Durga Ma. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Kali Durga Ma Durga. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Chamunde Kali Durga Ma. Chamunde Kali Durga Ma. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Bhairavi Jagatarini Ma. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Jagat Janani Jagatamba. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Jagat Janani Jagatamba. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Mahadevi Lalita. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Bhairavi Jagatarini Ma. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Ambike Kali Durga Ma. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Jagat Janani Jagatamba. Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Jaya Jagatambe Ma Durga. Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Jaya Jagatambe Ma Durga. Shri Ma Jai Jai Ma Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Jaya Jagatambe Ma Durga. Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Jaya Jagatambe Ma Durga. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. Namastasye Mata Saraswati Sharade Devi 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 Namastasya Mata Saraswati Sharade Devi Namastasya Mata Saraswati Sharade Devi Namastasya Sharada 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 Devi Namastasya Mata Saraswati Sharade 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 Devi Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Mata 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 Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Mata Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Mata Mata Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Mata Mata Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Mata Namastasya Mata Saraswati Sharade Devi 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 So the words for this chant are Jai Ma, Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antaryami. So Maharani is Great Queen, Guru Antaryami. Antaryami is the knower of our hearts. And in the time that I got to spend with Ma, I learned to understand very quickly that she knew what was happening inside me. And she showed us so much love, so much care, and she allowed us to be ourselves and helped us. She had so much clarity in everything that she said, and it helped to clear things up, whatever muddles we might be going through in our minds. And she continues to do that by her ongoing presence in our lives. Everything she did was dedicated to Maharaji. She was dissolved in his presence. And while we were with her, and when we invoke her, we get dissolved with her more and more as time goes by. She always tried to make things easier for us, help us to accept what might be coming our way. And the great instruction she gave us, as Tara and Shyama and Ambika have said, is that practice was so important. Practice was important for us to even be able to surrender to Maharaji's presence, to Hanuman, to Devi, to everything that's happening, and accept it in the best way that we can, with courage and with an open heart. She really showed us that. And one of the things Krishnadas said to us a long time ago, in the very beginning that I first started chanting with him and listening to him, was we have to learn how to trust our heart. Because if we don't trust our own hearts, who are we going to trust? And in her way, Ma has helped me understand that better, because I feel like she trusts in me, as silly as that seems. And if she can, then I can. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami. 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 Jai Ma, Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami, Jai Ma. Devi Mata, Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami, Devi Mata, Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami, Devi Mata, Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami. Devi Mata, Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami, 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 Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami, Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami, Jai Ma, Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami, Jai Ma. Jai Ma, Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami, Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami. Jai Ma, 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 Jai Guru Maharani, Guru Antarayami. We bow down to you, Shyama, and to all the elders who've led us to you and share us with you, and to all the satsang for doing practice together. Shri 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 Siddhi Mata Ji ki Jai. Shri 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 Ananta Koti Baba Shri Neem Karori Sant Maharaj ki Jai.
I first met Maharaji in 1970, September. And we were very new to India. Everything was sparkling and alive, and we were just so happy to be there. We heard about the Mas, Maharaji's Mas, but we never saw them. There was a lot of mystery about it. Who were they? You know, wow. What does that mean? What's that about? And one day in Vrindavan, maybe a year after having been there, after a year or so, in the evening we were sitting with Maharaji out in the courtyard. And very quietly, a few ladies dressed in white saris came and sat on the other side of the tucket from where we were sitting. And Maharaji looked at us. He's like this, oh, who are these ladies? He asked me, who are these ladies? And I say, they're your Mas. Your mothers. Who are these ladies? He didn't like that answer. I said, they're the Ma, they're the goddess. He didn't like that either. And he looked at me and he said, Radha Sita Neha. They're not Radha and Sita right there before your eyes. And that was the first we saw them. But they knew everything about everybody. They listened. They used to stand just inside the room, on the other side of the windows, and they heard everything that went on. And then, of course, Maharaji told them everything about us, and they listened to everything. And in the summer, in the fall of 1972, I was living in the temple. And it was Durga Puja time. And all the Mas from Nainital and all the surrounding areas came to stay in the temple for that period of time, for those days. And every night they would gather in this one room in the front part of the temple, the last room. So one of the walls in that room was in the wall that separated the front and the back of the temple. So you could hear them chanting all night long. And I used to go sit just outside that window and listen for hours and hours and hours. And all night they sang, and it was extraordinary. I mean, yes, the kirtanwalas were there. They were singing all the time. But the devotion of these Mas, of these ladies, was so extraordinary. So no holds barred. And they were playing the drums and the shakers, and every once in a while there would be a scream. And apparently one of the Mas went into Samadhi and kind of fell over, and she would be caught by the other ladies. This is how this is how it was transmitted to me what chanting was. And so while Maharaji was still in the body, we didn't meet the Mas too much. But after he left the body, Siddhi Ma was forced to come out and take care of things and take care of the devotees. She couldn't really remain hidden like that. He had given her some things to do and had told her that when a guru leaves the body, his temples become his body. So she took care of Kenchi and Bhumidar and the temples in the hills as if they were Maharaji's own body. They were spotless. You could eat off the ground anywhere. And she allowed us to come. She took us in as her own family. She took care of us. She helped us through endless amounts of neurotic, psychotic craziness, and never judged us, never judged our lifestyle, never judged our actions. She only talked about Maharaji. She turned everything to Maharaji. One day I was sitting with her, and it was quiet for a while, and all of a sudden she looked at me and she said, "Krishnadas, Maharaji can do anything for anyone at any moment." I was like, okay. Whoa. She was totally immersed in him. Sometimes she'd start telling me something like I should be careful about this, and then halfway through the sentence she would kind of look up for a second and then say, "Oh, never mind, you're covered." I could just see Maharaji saying, "Leave him alone, he's covered." She saved my life so many times, and it was because of her intervention and her connection, of course, with Maharaji, her deep merging into him, that many obstacles in my life were removed. Maharaji had sent me back to America telling me that I had attachment there. I had to go back. But he didn't tell me how to get through that attachment. It was Ma who helped me get through those attachments. She never wavered. For her, it was always Maharaji and nothing but Maharaji, always. One time, Maharaji was sitting on a rock on the lake in Nainital, right across from the India Hotel, which is where Ma lived with her husband at the time. And Tiwari was with him. He said to Tiwari, he said, Katyayani lives there, Durga. Katyayani lives there. It was for her that Hanumanji had to come. So many blessings for so many years. Never be able to really appreciate and understand who she is. She hid herself even more than Maharaji did, I think. When she was married and living in her husband's house, this was before the India Hotel, I think, before she went to move there, yeah. Living in a house in Talital, a few houses down from KK's house. So Anandamayi Ma used to come to see Ma, because she was always in the kitchen of her house. In those days, the women couldn't come out unless their husbands went out, or they were accompanied by someone. So she was always home, and Anandamayi Ma used to come up to KK's house, come up into the kitchen, and visit for a while. Then she would climb up on the roof and walk over 2 houses and then down into Siddhi Ma's kitchen and spend the day with her there. This is when she was fairly young, fairly soon after she was married. Her doors were always open. She was always there for us. She allowed the Westerners to come and made us feel at home and at ease. Even if there were new devotees, people who hadn't met Maharaji, she still didn't discriminate in any way and always let us come. Treated us, fed us, took care of us, wrapped her arms around us. I, for one, wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. That's for sure. she always loved me and protected me and encouraged me. Last time I saw her was at the house in Nainital that Jaya had built for her. We were there with the people from Chennai, from the Arvind Hospital. And it was time to go, and she was in the house. She was sitting in her chair by the window. And there were 3 tall windows right next to each other, and she was sitting in the one to the left, behind the one to the left. And I was standing there looking at her, and one of the servant girls came and pulled down the shade on the first window. And she pulled down the shade on the second window. And as she was pulling down the shade on the window that Ma was sitting behind, I knew that was the last time I would see her body. I watched the curtain come down. But her presence is always with us. Hey Ma Durga, hey Ma Durga, hey Ma Durga, hey Ma Durga, hey Ma Durga. Hey Ma Durga, hey Ma Durga, hey Ma Durga. Om Namah Chandikai, Om Namah Chandikai. 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 Chanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shivadatri Swaha Swadha Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Sarvabhuta Yada Devi Bhukti Mukti Pradayani Tvam Stuta Stute Kava Bhavantu Paramoktaya Kalakashtadi Rupena Parinam Pradayani Vishwasyo Parito Shakti Narayani Namostute Sarvamangalamangalye Shive Sarvata Sadhike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Srishti Sthiti Vinashana Shakti Bhute Sanatani Gunashray Gunamaye Narayani Namostute Sharanagata Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute Lakshmi Laje Mahavidya Shadhe Pushti Swadhe Dhruve Maharatri Mahamaye Narayani Namostute Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi Bhukti Mukti Pradayani Mantramurti Mahadevi Mahalakshmi Namostute Sarvaswarupe Sarveshe Sarvashakti Samambite Bhai Vyastrahino Devi Durge Devi Namostute Sarvabadha Vinirmukto Dhanadhanya Siddhanato Manasyo Matprasadeno Bhavishyati Sanshaya Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om 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 Om Matre Namah. Om Shri Matre Namah. Jembe Gauri Jai Shyama Gauri. Om Shri Matre Namah. Om Shri Matre Namah. Om Shri Matre Namah. Jembe Gauri Jai Shyama Gauri. Om Shri Matre Namah. Om Shri Matre Namah. Om Shri Matre Namah. Jembe Gauri Jai Shyama Gauri. Om Shri Matre Namah. Jai Jagarambe. Jai Jai Jagarambe. He Ma Durga. He Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe. Jai Jagarambe. He Ma Durga. He Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe. Jai Jagarambe. He Ma Durga. He Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe. Jai Jai Jagarambe. He Ma Durga. He Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe, Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga, Jai Jagarambe, Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga, Jai Jagarambe, Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga, Jai Jagarambe, Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga, Jai Jagarambe, Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga, Time's almost up, huh?
Sing as long as you want, Krishna Das.
I just want to sing one more. I wasn't going to sing it with the harmonium, but... So the one chant that I heard, that I remembered, that I could tell what they were singing, when the Mahas were singing in that room, back in the day was Kali Durga Namo Namo. And when I used to sing this, this was one of the favorite things that Ma used to like when I sang. So we'll sing it now, just not too long. Jai Jagadambe Sita Radhe Jai Jagadambe Sita Radhe Kali Durga Namo Namo Kali Durga Namo Namo Jai Jagadambe Sita Radhe Jai Jagadambe Sita Radhe Kali Durga Namo Namo Kali Durga Namo Namo Alanakarani Bhavabhaya Harani Alanakarani Bhavabhaya Harani Kali Durga Namo Namo Ma Kali Durga Namo Namo Tarani Bhavabhaya Harani Tarani Bhavabhaya Harani Kali Durga Namo Namo Ma Kali Durga Namo Namo Jai Jagadambe Sita Radhe Jai Jagadambe Sita Radhe Kali Durga Namo Namo Kali Durga Namo Namo Jai Jagadambe Sita Radhe Jai Jagadambe Sita Radhe Kali Durga Namo Namo Kali Durga Namo Namo Kali Durga Namo Namo Kali Durga Namo Namo Palan bhaya harani Kali Durge Namo Namo Kali Durge Namo Namo Kali Durge Namo Namo Ma Kali Durge Namo Namo. So we bow to Ma. We try to bow to her the way she bows to Maharaji, the way Maharaji bows to Hanumanji, the way Hanumanji bows to Ram. It's one line of devotion, of transmission. Siyavara Ramachandra ki jai, Sri Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki jai, Sri Umapati Mahadev ki jai, Sri Vrindavan Banki Bihari Lal Shri Krishna Baladev ki jai, Sri Vindhyavasini Durga Devi Siddhi Ma ki jai, Shri Shri Babanim Karoli Santa Maharaj ki jai.
So, thank you all for joining us tonight. I tell you, one of the greatest gifts of the Guru is our satsang. We get to hang out together. I wish we could all be together in person more, or in India with Ma, or even just us together. But we can share this space, and there are many of you out there who also spend time with Ma. If either you had met Maharaji or didn't, and also then came to Ma afterwards. So thank you for sharing this space with us. And I just want to invite everybody back on camera just to say goodbye to everybody. And I want to thank Krishna Das and Ambika and Shyama and Tara, who is awake way too late.
Time to get up.
And also Serena and Anna, both for helping us on the technology side in the background. So all of you turn on your cameras and say hi.
Hello.
Ram Ram, hi. It's time to get up again now.
Now you have to take your bath at 3 o'clock, Tara. Cold water only, right?
Full of them.
Oh my gosh, those were the years.
Bucket bath. Ram Ram.
Wow.
Ram Ram. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. See you
Nina,
again
Nina.
soon.
Thank you, Katie. Huh?
thanks, Heidi, Shyama, Ambika, Nina.
Ambika.
So lovely.
Bye, Anna.
Tara.
Thank you. Sarina.
Anna, Serena, Sub.
Anna, Serena, for sure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You can close the meeting.
Jai Shri Ma.